Based on the provided textbook pages, here is the organized content covering record bases and occlusal rims, Chapter 5, Record Bases and Occlusal Rims. 1. Definitions. Record base, base plate, trial base, temporary base, and interim denture base used to support the occlusal, record rim material for recording maxillomandibular records. Occlusal rim, record rim, occluding surfaces fabricated on interim or final denture bases for the purpose of making maxillomandibular relation records and arranging teeth. Denture base, the part of a denture that rests on the foundation tissues and to which teeth are attached. 2. Requirements of a record base. Rigid, accurate, and stable. Borders should resemble those of the finished denture. Smooth, rounded, and polished borders. Should not interfere with teeth arrangement. Easy to remove from the cast. Thickness should not be greater than 2 mm. Acceptable color to blend with the mucosa. 3. Classification of record base materials. Temporary bases, materials eliminated prior to processing the denture and replaced with new denture base material, autopolymerizing acrylic resin. Light curing resins. Thermoplastic resins. Shellac. Base plate wax. Stabilized bases. Permanent bases, record bases used as the denture base for the completed denture, heat curing acrylic resins. Fluid resins. Metal bases. 4. Temporary base fabrication techniques and details. A. Autopolymerizing acrylic denture bases. Manipulation techniques, sprinkle-on technique. Dough technique, finger adapted. Confined dough methods, stone mold, wax confined, flask confined, stone mold method, Asadzadik and Yarmand, 1975, adapt 1 to 2 sheets of base plate wax over the definitive cast. Make small, widely separated round indentations in the land area of the cast. Apply separating medium over the cast. Box the cast to a height of at least 15 mm and pour dental plaster to make an index. Remove baseplate wax from master cast and apply separating medium over both. Mix autopolymerizing resin into a sheet, place on cast, position plaster index on top, fitting the indentations, and confine with heavy rubber bands. Polymerize in a pressure pot for 20 min, under 20 psi, pressure to reduce porosities. Separate, trim, and polish. Wax confined method, Lavier and Frida, 1974, block out undercuts with wax. Apply 3 layers of separating medium and let set for 10 min. Adapt baseplate wax sheet over cast short of borders by 2 mm. Add a thin mix of autopolymerizing resin along borders to fill the sulcus. Add resin to fitting surface of adapted wax, covering entire surface by 2 mm. After initial set, invert wax with unpolymerized resin onto cast and compress evenly until resin reaches 2 mm thickness. Allow resin to cure, then trim and polish. Advantages. Acrylic on fitting surface provides accuracy and rigidity. Wax on outer surface allows better attachment to wax occlusal rim. Flask confined method. Adapt baseplate wax on master cast and shape to final contour. Flask and dewax as for making a heat cure acrylic base. Pack mixed autopolymerizing resin into flask, clamp tightly, and allow to cure under pressure. B. Shellac bases. Source and properties, derived from resinous exudates of a scale insect. Thermoplastic and brown in color, can be bleached pink. Available in shapes for maxillary and mandibular arches. Procedure. Coat cast with powdered talc or deep in slurry water. Center baseplate over cast and heat with flame to soften. Adapt from center to periphery using a wet cotton swab to prevent creases. Trim excess while soft using scissors. Check for rocking, smooth borders with files or arbor bands. Advantages. Easy to fabricate in less time. Disadvantages. Can distort and break easily due to lack of rigidity. Needs reinforcement with orthodontic wires or paper clips. C. Wax record bases. Hard baseplate wax is used, reinforced with wires. Advantages. Easy and fast to fabricate. Disadvantages. Lacks dimensional stability and rigidity, tends to distort easily, not recommended. D. Stabilized bases. Definition. A record base lined with a material to improve its fit and adaptation to underlying supporting tissues. Materials used for lining, zinc oxide eugenol, Zoe, impression paste. Elastomeric impression material, medium body, autopolymerizing resin. Procedure. Base, shellac, wax, adapted on cast, removed, and relief holes placed. Separating medium applied to cast. Stabilizing material mixed, loaded onto tissue surface, and base replaced on cast with pressure to set. Disadvantages. Zoe, excessive thickness, undercuts must be blocked out. Elastomers, expensive material, excessive thickness. Autopolymerizing resin tends to warp record base due to stress release. 5. Permanent bases fabrication and types. A. Heat cure resins. Procedure: adapt baseplate wax over master cast. Invest in flask using 3-pour technique. Dewax to remove wax completely. Pack heat cure acrylic resin into mold and process using compression molding or injection molding technique. Advantages: strong, rigid, controlled thickness, minimal finishing needed. Disadvantages: master cast can be damaged during flasking, may need duplication, time consuming. B. Fluid resin bases. Uses: pourable, chemically activated acrylic resin. Waxed base placed in modified duplicating flask with spruce, filled with reversible hydrocolloid. Resin poured into mold after removing wax pattern. Advantages: improved adaptation, simplified flasking. Disadvantages: poorer physical properties compared to heat-processed resin, technique sensitive. C. Metal bases. Used as a permanent denture base material. Materials: Type 4 gold alloys, chromium-based alloys, titanium alloys. Advantages: rigid, accurate, dimensionally stable, easy to maintain, good thermal conductivity, adds weight to mandibular dentures, less reaction with mucosa. Thin sections provide high strength. Disadvantages: expensive, time-consuming fabrication, relining, rebasing, alterations are difficult. 6. Occlusal rims. Purpose of occlusal rims: to establish and record maxillomandibular relationships. Assisting in artificial teeth arrangement for try-in, including determining length and width of artificial teeth. Midline of arch. Proper lip support. Cuspid eminence. Standard dimensions of maxillary occlusal rim. General guidelines: parallel to the long axis of the tooth to be replaced. Follow the arch contour. Region: height, width, inclination, relation to ridge. Anterior 22, text mm, from highest portion of labial flange to occlusal edge, 4 to 6, text mm. Anterior border inclined about 8, text mm, anterior to incisive papilla. Labial inclination of 5 carat, circ, slightly labial relation to ridge. Posterior 18, text mm, from highest portion of buccal flange to occlusal edge, 8 to 10, text mm, 5 carat, circ palatal, buccal aspect, inclination, perpendicular to occlusal plane, palatal aspect, extends 1, text cm, anterior to hamular notch, slightly buccal relation to ridge. Based on the newly provided pages from Chapter 5, Record Bases and Occlusal Rims, here is the continuing and complete notes organized according to the textbook text. 7. Mandibular occlusal rim dimensions and characteristics. General rule: should be parallel to the long axis of the tooth to be replaced and follow the contour of the arch. Region: height, width, inclination, relation to ridge. Anterior 18, text mm, from deepest portion of labial flange to occlusal edge, 4 to 6, text mm. Labial inclination of 5 carat, circ, relation to ridge is slightly labial. Posterior: height extends up to the retromolar pad. 8 to 10, text mm. Slight 5 carat, circ lingual inclination of buccal aspect and buccal inclination of lingual aspect, directly on the crest of the ridge. 8. Methods of fabrication of occlusal rims. Rolled wax technique. A sheet of modeling wax is heated, softened, and rolled to a diameter of 1, text cm. Wax should be continuously softened and rolled, not melted, to prevent air bubbles. Placed on the record base along arch contours with downward pressure to extend laterally. Sealed on lingual, palatal surfaces using a hot wax knife or spatula. Contoured using a hot plate, then polished by gently flaming and rubbing with wet cotton or nylon. Using metal occlusal rim formers, wax is rolled into a cylinder and shaped using metal rim formers, then stored for later use. Adapted, sealed, and shaped on the record base when required. Preformed occlusal rims, commercially available wax rims designed separately for maxillary and mandibular ridges. Adapted over the record base, sealed, and contoured. Compound occlusal rims, fabricated using impression compound, rarely used. Used to record jaw relationships in functionally generated techniques. 9. Clinical contouring of occlusal rims. A. Maxillary rim contouring. Labial extension, fullness, must be in harmony with facial profile. Nasolabial angle should be 90 carat, circ. Proper support maintains natural look of nasolabial sulcus, philtrum, and commissure of the mouth. Underextended, deepens nasolabial sulcus, flattens philtrum, obtuse nasolabial angle, commissures drop. Overextended, distorts sulcus, flattens philtrum, acute nasolabial angle, commissures stretched laterally. Anterior vertical length should be 2 mm below the relaxed lip, low lip line. Buccal extension slants slightly towards the palate distal to the cuspid to create space for the buccal corridor. Vertical length at the first molar region is approximately 6 mm below the orifice of Stenson's duct. Occlusal plane evaluation, profile view, parallel to Camper's line, ALA tragal line, runs from inferior border of ALA of nose to superior border of tragus of ear. Frontal view, parallel to the interpupillary line. Checked clinically using a Fox plane indicator with a scale or tongue blade. B. Mandibular rim contouring. Labially, lip should be unstrained with proper support of mentolabial sulcus. Anterior extension allows an overjet of 2 mm with the maxillary rim in place. Height anteriorly is set at the level of the corner of the mouth. Buccally, rim slants slightly lingually from the cuspid region to accommodate the buccal corridor. 10. Reference orientation lines marked on occlusal rims. Midline, recorded using center of philtrum of lip, center of forehead, labial frenum, and mid-palatine suture, incisive papilla. Low lip line, definition, the lowest position of the inferior border of the upper lip when at rest, GPT 8. Helps determine vertical length of incisors. High lip line, definition, the greatest height to which the inferior border of upper lip is raised by muscle function during smiling, GPT 8. Helps determine length of teeth and superior extent of visible gingiva. Cuspid line, marks tentative position of maxillary canine teeth and aids in tooth selection. Method 1. Pointed end of number 7 wax spatula placed at corners of mouth parallel to eye pupils marks tentative distal extension of canine teeth. Method 2. Line drawn from inner canthus of eye through lateral border of ALA of nose onto maxillary occlusal rim marks tentative cusp tip of canine.